Well, summer has certainly arrived for us here in southeast Queensland, Australia. Here's a tour of what is going on currently in our veggie patch. So the first bed here is an old bed that I've just fully cleared out. I've got a few beets here that I need to pull out. I've still got this fennel up the back, but I'm just leaving because the ladybugs are coming to it. I was planning to plant this bed out last month, but I just didn't get time, so I'm just going to do a top up with it, and I'm probably going to put another run of corn in here. Now this garden here was the problem bed that I mentioned last month. Someone in the comments said check the pH, which I haven't done yet, but because I've wound down a little bit, I'm not really too concerned about it. But you will see I've got this net here. This is just off the veg pods, which live over there. And basically it's here because I do have a baby in here, a baby watermelon. So I'm protecting him from fruit fly. We'll see how we go. It's very rare that we get watermelons because one, we've got those fruit flies like cucumber flies. I'm not sure exactly which stings them. I'm going to assume it's the cucumber fly. But also because when they're sort of almost ripe, we tend to get a lot of rain and they split. So we'll see. Normally I like to sort of plant them in winter, and then with the dry spring we'll get them. But that wasn't the case this year. They just didn't seem to get going early enough. So that's what's under there. Other than that, I've just let things go. I do have the okra, which I am sort of picking as required. There's a couple of carrots in there. I did pull out the cucumber just the other day. So I'll probably just leave this bed, and this will be something that I plant probably in April, this bed. That's when I'll plant this one out. So this is the bed that we planted out in November. The corn, we've actually harvested it all. I'm going to do a chop and drop in here, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. We've got the little cucumber vine that just self-seeded taking over. I had cucumbers here, which I've just taken out because they've just finished up. In here we've got the Hungarian sweet wax capsicums. It's been a really great season for our capsicums this year, so I'm just waiting for those to ripen up. We've got heaps of green ones if we need them, so I can't get them if I want, but I do want to get the red ones. And then just some pioneer beans that do have a little bit of problems. We've got mites, we've got all sorts of stuff, but they're sort of finishing up now, so I'll probably plant a few more of those. We've also got an eggplant which has been destroyed by the flea beetles. I am still sort of coming and trying to squash them. Yep, see how it sort of dumped like a flea. But yeah, I've picked a few off this already. It is a new plant, so usually we find eggplants really kick into gear in that beginning of the second season. So anything that we've planted this year, we'll get the most harvests in around August, September. So we'll be leaving this one here. There's a problem with this bed, and we've got root knot nematodes in here, which is why I planted the corn. It was over this side, but when I pulled out my capsicums, I noticed that they have migrated up here. So we'll see how this eggplant goes. It may not sort of thrive because of that root knot nematode issue. But the plan is to plant this one out with just brassicas. So hopefully we can then get rid of the problem that we've got in here. But we just sort of plant things that we know are going to be okay against root knot nematodes. Corn is one of them. And we did get a decent crop of corn out of this, but because of the rain at the wrong time, which happened to us all year with corn, it wasn't as pollinated as we would have liked, but we still got a fair bit. So in the wicking bed, I did pull out all of, I had the Malabar spinach running up here, but it did end up getting a fungal disease, so I just pulled it out, and I've put in here, like, it's self-seeding everywhere anyway, so I'll let those go. But I've put in some Market More cucumbers in here. I haven't grown them for a long time. I actually forget what they're like, so we'll see how they go, and I'll hopefully be able to get them up here, which is why I've got like strings. I'm going to try and train them up to that side, and I've got bamboo there. But things are going pretty well in here. We do have some kind of nutrient deficiency. I know that this particular bed had a very high pH from the soil that we bought in for it. So I'm going to have to check that as well when I do the other bed, and just give it a bit of a boost. But you can sort of tell the color of these blue butterfly peas. They've got some issues with some kind of nutrient deficiency there. See how it's sort of yellow on the outside and green on the inside? It could be an iron deficiency, it could be magnesium, so I just need to sort of have a look at that. So the corner perennial beds just sort of taking off. I was worried because I did pull out the Madagascan beans, and I pulled those out because they had the same spots on them that the Malabar spinach had, so I just pulled it all out, and I was planning on planting them again, but I didn't get around to it. But I was worried that this would be a little bit barren, but the salvia and also the spinach up the back has just sort of taken over, so it's not so hot anymore. Our veg pod strawberry jalapeno combo is doing really well. I only picked all of these a couple of days ago. They're massive. I was taking a risk not covering these. We don't seem to have any fruit fly out the back, so the actual Queensland fruit fly don't seem to be stinging these. And I know because I have been harvesting red capsicums out here. This one's a little bit sunburnt here, and they haven't been stung, so that's a good thing. I guess that we've managed to get the problem under control out here. We have had tomatoes out the front be stung, so I put nets out there, but seems to be, I'm taking risks here, but it seems to be okay out here. So here's another garden bed that I'm resting. I pulled everything out of here. We did have a bacterial wilt in here, so I just wanted to really rest it over the summer months. But I have found there's like a massive root in here, and I know that I mentioned this a little while ago, but that's coming in from a tree from the park next door. So I am planning on digging this all out and turning it into a wicking bed, but I do have to fix this bit of timber here because the white ants have eaten that out. Our ginger is go, and the aquaponics is full of lettuce. Yeah, so it's been really good. I don't know if you saw last time, I had just sprinkled seeds all through here, and this is the product. We've been pulling any that are sort of going to seeds and chucking them to the chickens, but it's been really good to have this amount of lettuce for us. The loofahs are sort of just kicking into gear now that we've finally got the humid weather. They are going nuts, and yes, that's an electrical cord and it shouldn't be climbing up there, and I need to relocate it, but yeah, just haven't gotten around to it. But we do still have celery that we've just been picking as we need, and lots more lettuce, and I had a lot of Asian greens go to seed in this particular bed, so a lot of that is actually pak choi in there, so that's just self-seeded, which is great. So our front garden, the corn here has all finished up. We got a lot of corn, but they were quite small because I did overplant. I actually put 2 seeds per hole, and I put them very close together because I was worried that they weren't going to germinate, but they all came up, and I just let them go. I have since planted out a green manure crop in this bed, and just waiting for it all to germinate. Hopefully it will, but it's been so hot this week. I wouldn't be surprised if only half of the seeds come up. But the sweet potato bed is going nuts. Over here we have we've got a pink tongue long eggplant. I've been getting a couple of those every couple of days. Some chilies and some beans are still going. I've just planted another okra in here, and here is the zucchini. We've got 2 shoots, and it's going, and it's going all the way over there. To be honest, we haven't got a lot out of there because the cucumber flies seem to get it before we do. But every now and then I will get it. I need to put some more bait stations out. But yeah, our sweet potatoes are pretty happy. I've just planted some flowers to fill in this gap here. I've got some sunflowers behind the zinnias and cosmos. And the pumpkin is taking over. I actually have a pumpkin jammed in between the mesh and the fence, which is going to be fun trying to get out. We've also had a lot of flowers from our dragon fruit. We've got a couple of different varieties. I believe this one's a red one. We've got another white one and a yellow one, and they've all flowered, so we should get some nice dragon fruit, which I'm quite looking forward to. I was sensible this year and only planted 2 rosella plants, and they're just kicking into gear now. Usually they wait for that humidity to start to really get going. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having those again, because my son is actually eating the Rosella jam. So yeah, I'll need to replace it. So hopefully we get some flowers off that soon and we can start doing that. Over here, this is a bed that I planted out in December. And I do have some issues under here. I have netted it. But I do have some capsicums. The Swiss chard is doing really well in here. But my tomato is looking a little bit sad, and I'm kind of wondering if it's from the horse poo. It's got these curled leaves. I'm wondering if there's some kind of herbicide problem. Either that or it's mites. We haven't got any flowers yet, so I'm going to top it up with some potassium. But I've been harvesting lots of the basil in here, lots of the Swiss chard. I've pulled out a few lettuces. Again, I don't know if this is mite damage or if it's to do with the horse poo that we put in here. Because it's happening over in the sweet potato bed as well, which I'll show you now. So yeah, the curled leaves, this bed had the same horse poo, and there's these curled leaves on my celery and also on the sweet potato. So I'm a bit worried that it's some kind of herbicide. I've not seen mite damage on sweet potatoes or celery before, so I'm just wondering if either that or it's too much nitrogen. I know that that sort of happens a little bit. Maybe I put too much horse poo in. We had some spectacular sunflowers this year. The cockatoos got a lot of them. I'm sort of leaving this one here for seeds. Hopefully, I need to come and put a pillowcase over the top of them so we actually get the seeds. Here's the last one standing. I took a whole heap to my kids' teachers at school. But yeah, the cockatoos did have a field day. I love growing them no matter what. Like, the cockatoos usually don't get them until they are fully open. So we do get to enjoy them for a little bit. But they do deplete your garden beds. So just fair warning, if you do plant them, put them somewhere that is not going to compete with other things that you got growing. So here is our messy zone. This is where my cherry tomatoes are. They're under this net. I got sick of bagging them individually, so I've just put this over, and we're getting a fair amount of them. This is going to be, area is going to be cleared. I have to find a home for the wicking bed that's up the back. It's got strawberries and chilies in there, which is going nuts and I'm happy about. But this area is going to be fully cleared and our carport's going to be here. So yeah, we're going to wind this down, this area, very soon. It's about to show you guys the guavas, and I saw this. I don't know what these are, but oh, I don't usually get the heebie-jeebies from bugs, but they are creeping me out. Does anyone know what these are? Please leave a comment below. I've not seen them before, but anyway, our guava is loaded. This is in an area where we're going to be pulling down, which I'm a little bit sad about, but it also grew very quick, so we'll be able to replant one out the back. But yeah, it is loaded. So out of the 5 pineapples that we had growing, this is the final 2 remaining. The rest got eaten by rats, which I am so gutted about. So yeah, look, actually, I didn't see that this morning. Someone's had a go at this one. Oh, it's so frustrating. I hate rats. So I pulled out all of the snake beans at the back because we got overloaded, but I did replant some red noodle ones. I've still got a cucumber sort of struggling along there. There's one there ready to pick, I do believe. But yeah, I'm hoping that this will fill out with these red noodle snake beans and sort of just drop down. So here I got a new bean variety growing. It's a sword bean. Yeah, I'm yet to grow it before or even try it to eat, so it'll be interesting. It's growing really well. Look at these pretty flowers. Love to know if you've grown these before. Leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure that you give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time.